What's up, YouTube fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, I will talk about the tragic story of Khaliyah Jones, a young woman who believed the love her and her 20-year-old boyfriend shared was real, but really, it was all superficial. Their tumultuous relationship ended in tragedy. Before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel. Please feel free to subscribe. To all of our current subscribers, new and old, welcome back. Don't forget to click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button. Please feel free to share this video. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. Everything in this video is alleged. Alright, let's jump right into it. The word superficial has a few different meanings. The ones that stood out to me the most are appearing to be true or real only until examined more closely, not having or showing any depth of character, and lastly, not thorough, deep, or complete. When preparing for this video, that word came to my mind, superficial. Many of us have encountered superficial relationships and the love associated with it. Many of us believed the love we were receiving from the other person was real, deep, thorough, and complete. We believed that the person had depth, character, and understanding, only to find out in some cases that the love was all on the surface. It wasn't real, and at some times, very dangerous. The so-called love was just a disguise of their anger, manipulation, fear, and the lack of character and understanding of themselves. They take out their insecurities on the person they claim to love. For 19-year-old Khaliyah Jones, she thought the love she shared with her 20-year-old boyfriend, Cameron Hopkins, was real. Khaliyah thought that she could be the one to save him from himself. It's not clear how long the young couple had been dating before things began to take a dangerous turn. Khaliyah and Cameron had broken up after things went sour between them. In May of 2022, Cameron was charged with putting his hands on Khaliyah at an apartment in Albany, Georgia. An incident report states Cameron hit Khaliyah under her left eye with an open hand, causing swelling and a small cut under her eye. After being arrested, Cameron was able to post the $1,500 bail and was released, but things didn't stop there. 2 months later, on July 16, 2022, Khaliyah, 18 at the time, was allegedly kidnapped at gunpoint by Cameron from a Walmart in Lovejoy in Clayton County, Georgia. According to reports, witnesses saw Cameron, 19 at the time, walk up to a car that Khaliyah was in with a weapon in hand. He allegedly broke the car window and drug Khaliyah out of the car, then allegedly forced her into his car before fleeing the scene. The ordeal was captured on surveillance from the Walmart parking lot. When authorities attempted to make contact with Cameron through his family, he reportedly told them that he was enraged over the fact that he and Khaliyah's relationship had ended, and if they pulled him over, he would end her life. Reports say that Cameron allegedly ditched his car and called 33-year-old DeMarco Jennings to pick him up from an undisclosed location. When DeMarco arrived, he and Cameron allegedly forced Khaliyah into DeMarco's car and continued heading south towards Macon. When the car came to a stop in Macon, Khaliyah made a run for it and ran to a nearby business and asked for help. Bystanders and witnesses stayed on the scene until law enforcement arrived. Khaliyah was able to give police information on where Cameron and DeMarco were heading. Both men were arrested and charged and transported back to Clayton County Jail. Khaliyah was safely reunited with her family. In September of 2022, Cameron posted a $162,000 bail and was released under strict conditions. He was not to have contact with or be anywhere near Khaliyah. He wore an ankle monitor and had a curfew of 7 p.m., and he was not allowed back in Clayton County. The charges in that case are still pending. After that terrifying situation, one would think that Khaliyah would see that the love Cameron had for her was dangerous, and that he deserved all the consequences of trying to allegedly kidnap her and threats to take her off this earth. However, because of the love Khaliyah had for Cameron, she wanted to help him, and according to the Clayton County DA, Khaliyah recanted what took place on July 16, 2022, although camera footage caught what happened in the parking lot. The couple didn't get back together officially, but Khaliyah still seemed to want the best for Cameron. Or could it have been out of fear of retaliation if she gave her testimony to put him behind bars? Khaliyah's mom said Cameron coerced her into saying it didn't happen. Reports say that Khaliyah's mom told Khaliyah that loving Cameron is going to end her life. But at 19, Khaliyah is old enough to make her own decisions. She didn't have to take her mother's advice. And sadly, that was a tragic mistake. In Fayetteville, Georgia, on Sunday, July 16, 2023, exactly a year to the date of the prior incident, multiple 911 calls came in reporting that an armed man came into a Wingstop restaurant on North Glen Street near I-85 South and took an employee against her will and forced her inside a red Chevy Camaro and drove off, leaving the scene. The employee was identified as 19-year-old Khaliyah Jones. The man was identified as her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Cameron Hopkins. Not only did 911 calls come in from witnesses present at the restaurant, but also relatives of Khaliyah who called 911 to report that Khaliyah was in danger. One of the 911 calls said, "My niece works there and her friend is up there and he's harassing her on the job and she needs some protection. He's making her get in his car," she told the operator. In the background, another person who was not identified can be heard shouting, "Don't get into the car." As she continued to provide information to 911, the aunt said, "He keeps harassing her, he keeps calling her. He was physical towards her and he made her get into his car," she said. She already has a restraining order against him. In another 911 call, Khaliyah's manager at Wingstop described the hectic situation at the store. "A guy just came in here for one of my employees. He came in here with a weapon and he just dragged her out," they said. When the 911 operator asked about the weapon allegedly used by the suspect, the manager replies, "I didn't see it, but I heard him cock it." They continued to tell the operator, "He walked behind the counter. I said, 'You can't come back here.' And he pushed past me and he walked up to her and I heard the weapon pop. He was walking out. I saw the weapon pointed at her side." As police were on their way to the scene, they spotted a vehicle matching the description of the car that fled the scene with Khaliyah inside. When officers attempted to make contact with the red Camaro, That's when a chase was initiated. The pursuit left Fayetteville and entered Clayton County via McDonough Road. Clayton County law enforcement joined the chase. The red Camaro eventually reached the entrance of Lovejoy High School in Clayton. Clayton County PD used a pit maneuver to stop the car. According to police, it was at that moment that the suspect, Cameron Hopkins, allegedly began shooting, with several shots being fired inside the vehicle and additional ones being fired at officers, striking the patrol cars multiple times, with officers still inside. Police exited their vehicles and took cover while Cameron and Khaliyah remained inside the Camaro. Officers gave commands for Cameron to exit the vehicle, which they said were ignored. Deputies from Fayette County used a less lethal option, a type of pepper spray, to get Cameron to exit the vehicle. As Cameron got out of the car, he was taken into custody. But sadly, Khaliyah was found inside the car with several gunshot wounds. Khaliyah sadly succumbed to her injuries and passed away. According to reports, Khaliyah's mother said that Cameron called her after he wounded Khaliyah. She said he called her screaming, "Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones," and saying, "Baby, wake up, baby, wake up." She said she told him, "Cameron, you shot her." Cameron faces multiple charges in 2 counties, Fayette and Clayton. During his first court hearing on July 17th, he had a strange question for the judge, asking, "If you could give me possible pleas, give me that," Cameron said. Cameron Hopkins remains in jail, and his next court date is set for August 7th. He is innocent until proven guilty. Khaliyah's mom told reporters that the courts, those in charge of the ankle monitoring and bonds, failed them. She said she will be working on laws to keep dangerous offenders behind bars. My deepest condolences go out to Khaliyah's mother and family members. This is a very disturbing and heartbreaking situation. I can't imagine trying everything you can to save your child, but the outcome is still for the worst. I believe that Khaliyah had a beautiful heart and soul. She was a young girl in love with someone she thought that loved her too. Sometimes we can misinterpret real love for superficial love, and we can even feel like we have the ability to change others by giving them the love we should be giving ourselves. Khaliyah had her whole life ahead of her. I just hate that her life ended in such a tragic way. You can tell she was trying to move on, but Cameron refused to let her go. In my opinion, Cameron didn't want Khaliyah to live. He wanted her gone, because if he couldn't have her, no one, not even her family or friends, could have her. May Khaliyah Jones rest in peace, and may she finally get the justice she deserves. I hope that her mother and family are successful in passing the law that could place more protection in place for women and men in situations like Khaliyah. This situation is really sad, and I wish it could have had a different outcome. God bless everyone involved in this tragedy. Our oldest daughter is 19, and our youngest is 15. And we try so much to talk to them about life, and sometimes it feels as though we're speaking another language to them. They just think we're trying to run their lives when really we're just trying to protect them. It's hard parenting teenagers. They really think they know it all until they don't know. Even when we try to explain, "Hey, we were teenagers once too." But at that point, all you can do as a parent or guardian is wish them well and pray and hope for the best for them. especially when they turn 18. It's not much you can do. I'm really sorry that Khaliyah's parents had to go through this tragedy of losing their daughter. Again, my sincerest condolences. Fam, if you or anyone you know is involved in DV, please try to get help. DV is never okay. In most cases, it never gets better, only worse. Reach out to your local DV specialist in your area. If possible, start over. Do what you have to survive, even if you have to do it alone. Don't let fear keep you there. That's not love. Perfect love casts out fear. Real love doesn't keep you in fear. Be aware of superficial love. Fam, tell me your thoughts on this in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching and making it to the end. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.